In my book, I describe them as beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and there are a couple of grades in between that, but that is a general category. I think that the thing that differentiates the beginner from the intermediate is essentially by the time you reach intermediate level, you're beginning your teacher training. You're given more responsibility. You've had a lot of lives that have been very difficult, and you've been very successful in your life in handling them. One of the primary things that our guides and teachers look at is how we have treated others in our life. What have we done for others as opposed to ourselves? And if we find people who are really quite unselfish and giving people, we know that probably they're moving into the intermediate level. And from the intermediate level to the advanced level is the difference between a soul being kind of at the beginning stage of teaching to one that is a more advanced teacher. And those souls that are more advanced are into work that is very, very demanding. Many of them will have a number of people with whom they are teaching who are on Earth and on other planets. And it is also their responsibility in the spirit world to, if you will, run spirit groups as teachers and to conduct lessons and to work with individual souls on their own problems. So there's quite a difference between a beginner and an advanced soul. Soulmates can be confusing to people. Of course, in the spirit world, I find, and I think I've explained this, that in a soul group we have many soulmates. Our soul groups may be made up of 4 or 5 different people, or 25 or 30, depending on how quickly we're moving through into the more advanced stages. It could be argued that if your husband or wife is your soulmate, but it could also be argued that your best friend in high school is your soulmate, or your business partner, or whatever. And it may well be true that they are all soulmates and all come from your spirit group. For me, the most intense soulmate relationship is that being with whom we like to reincarnate in terms of a spouse, someone with whom we've been mated in many, many lives, and we often have changed genders. We've been in the male in one life and then a female in another. So this is another measure of the advancement of the soul, because I find, too, that if souls incarnate mostly as males or mostly as females, they haven't yet reached that intermediate level where they can interchange with ease. So soulmates are a very, very important aspect of our lives, and sometimes we learn our greatest lessons with our soulmates. Well, orientation is that aspect of going into the spirit world where you review your last life. You review what it is that you did right and what you did wrong. Transition is when you move into the spirit world to your place where you live with your other souls who are your group. And there may be other groups that you can see around you. And finally, the last area is when you move forward. That is the time of rebirth and embarkation, if you will. When the time that you have spent between lives now is completed and you're ready to tackle the next life and the next body and go forward with the next lesson that will give you basically purpose in your life.